Hello, this is Dom Rivera of Latin Chronicles, and today we have a very special guest. Here we have Hairol Santana of Yamule Dance Company. I want to thank you so much, Hairol, for coming today.
Thank you, thank you. That means a lot to me. I'm really honored to be doing this interview. I'm not getting the full, like I told you, full spectrum of this, but it's really exciting, and I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Yes, actually, I think my first introduction to you, besides World Fair Salsa Congress last year in Queens, was in Connecticut Salsa Fest.
Yes.
And that was when I believe I saw you perform either with Guariquiten.
Guariquitén and Bayarí.
Yes, and honestly, when I first saw you, I was amazed because the maturity you had on stage, the presence, the body movement, the flavor you have is just different.
Thank you. That's flattering, really.
And one thing I wanted to ask you was, how did the journey of salsa come to you?
Wow, that's a long story. This goes even way before I came into Yamule, because as I'm sure many people don't know, but I'm related to Osmar and
Osmar Perones.
Osmar Perones.
Yes.
Yeah, he's kind of like my uncle.
Yes.
And I was always around the studio and around him because my cousin is more blood related to him and was usually around him, you know. And then there were socials sometimes that we would come by together and we'd see all these people dancing and we'd always say, wow, I want to come take a class, you know. And most of the time we never really got to come, but then there was one day and we said, all right, this time we have to go. And we started taking classes and man, did we stay. We stayed.
Yes, I believe the original studio was on 170th. Yes. I think across from the Armory, right next to that Wendy's, right in the middle.
Right in front of, yeah.
Yes, and honestly, that studio there, that was just, I would call it like just a cave.
The
almost.
underground.
The underground,
yeah.
yes, because I mean those events in the original Yamule was just absolutely just like packed, packed house. Sweat on the mirrors, sweat on the walls.
That's right there.
And that right there, to be honest, I think breeds fierce dances.
Yes.
And to be honest, when first seeing you in Guariquiten and Bajarí, those groups, they just give a show. And I know you guys drill your routines endlessly. When you first were on these teams, was it almost overwhelming at first?
I mean, you know, I didn't know what Yamule was, you know. I just knew this was a dance company, my uncle's dance company. So I came into it, but what had me scared shitless was really of my first time performing. I was always a really shy person, you know, and it was kind of like the breakthrough, you know, let's break the ice. So doing that was definitely exciting as well.
Yes, and honestly, that's one thing with dancers in the scene nowadays is that the outside source sometimes, or the people that come to the socials, when they see professional dancers, these salsa on two dancers, sometimes the intimidation factor lies because it's almost that Hollywood appearance to them and they're kind of nervous to even approach dancers. And to know that you are just a normal person, you're funny, you're silly, you're active, you're adventurous, and you're social, that right there I feel can break that mold to others and say, hey, you're an inviting person.
Yes.
And hey, dance with me, talk to me, you know, learn from me. Yes. And I wanted to know so far in Yamule, what are some lessons that you've learned so far?
Lessons. Ooh, I got a good one. I'm not gonna say it, but I think like don't be scared to take an opportunity. Like I came across this opportunity once, and it was hard. It was hard for me to decide whether not to do it, whether to do it. And I came to many people for advice and, you know, on what I should do. And at the end of the day, I told myself, if the only thing I have to lose is the opportunity. If I don't go for it, it's okay. And if I do go for it and something happens, then even better, you know, that's a bonus.
Yes.
So that was definitely one of the lessons I learned here.
And I know we've talked before, and a lot of people get your age confused.
Yes, definitely, and I see why. I mean, I guess I don't look as old as I am, and I'm younger than people think. I just turned 17 like last Wednesday, March 23rd, yeah.
And mind you, nowadays in this generation, the age gaps, there are people here that have the baby face.
Yeah.
And there's people that have a more mature look. And at 17, some people get you confused as a person in their mid-20s. And to be honest, I feel age has no limit.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. And you can be a 70-year-old gentleman like yourself and learn from the best.
Yes.
And soak all that knowledge in and use it for a greater purpose.
Yes.
And so far in Yamule, in terms of the class structure, how do you feel the beginners, the intermediate, and advanced, when you see outsiders come in to your studios and take classes, what kind of the observations do you see?
Observations. I see a lot of people come in here to learn how to social dance from outside, and they don't really, like, a lot of people they'll come here to learn how to be, a professional dancer.
Yes.
But then there's a lot of people who come from outside who they just like we're like royalty to them,
Yes.
They admire us from all parts of the world, and they want to be like us. They want to come learn our technique, our spinning technique. I see that Wednesday class gets packed on Wednesdays, and it's we have a variety of people who come over here and who come for different reasons.
Yes, and that is awesome because I've seen on Facebook alone through the Yamule page, and you guys post daily on the classes and kind of give us a glimpse of what to see, and I find it absolutely just splendid because to be honest, some schools choose to keep their work private.
Yes.
But I love is that with Yamule, you showcase what you have because, again, this art form is given to inspire people rather than just to shelter. And I've noticed that throughout the years with Yamule, many dancers who have come and gone, they all have that technique that is just second to none.
Yes.
And also their discipline. I've noticed that of a lot of dancers from Yamule, besides being great dancers on the floor, they're also great people off the floor.
Yes.
And very social, very approachable. And like you said, there are many people that see Yamule as royalty.
Yes.
And I've been around the scene a long time, and Yamule has just been they're on it.
They
Every
always
show,
deliver.
They always deliver. No matter how many routines Yamule has had in almost the past decade, their routines are just top notch.
Of course.
And to be honest, one thing I find amazing is that the generation now has slowly shifted in terms of more younger people like yourself are getting into the scene. And that is awesome because remember, the years go by, we want to make sure is that we continue to inspire the next generation after. And I've even seen two young gentlemen named the Sandoval brothers.
Oh.
Yes, those young gentlemen. And I believe you are one of their teachers, am I correct?
Yes, yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about them?
Okay, so those guys are definitely a talent, a force to be reckoned with. They're young, but man, they do have skill, man.
And I think it's 3 brothers, am I correct?
Three, there's a younger one too, and all of them, they just have this this spark. I don't know what it is. They all have the different, I don't know how to say it, this charisma.
Yes,
very charismatic.
And I know the Sandoval brothers, they're in a team with a few young ladies as well.
Oh yes, the other girls. Yeah, we got a couple great kids here that these guys they just never cease to amaze me.
Yes, and I find that it's so. I mean, we use the word inspiring a lot, but stuff here that you see it is because again, at 17 years old yourself, you're actually giving the tools necessary to kids who are half your age.
Yes.
And then from there, they can inspire the generation after them. And, what I see in Yamule is that it breeds it's almost...
It's a baby factory.
Yes. It basically is like a baby factory, but at the same time, you guys just produce the
greatest dancers.
Yes. I mean, we have, again, dancing is a global phenomenon. But in New York, when it comes to salsa on 2, Yamule is always mentioned. And I would say, to be honest, throughout the years, Yamule continues to get better? There's almost no limit to how great this company can be, because I noticed the performers like yourself, you strive and motivate yourself to become better. Rather than just stay where you are, I see you guys really just focus and motivate each other. And also, too, I wanted to know, at this point in Yamule, you are actually on the pro team, am I correct?
Actually, at this moment, I'm not.
Okay. But I'd say this, with Guariquiten, with Bahari, with pro, all of those teams.
Yeah, they all have their own, they have their own characteristics that define them as unique, and they're all great.
And we are back with Hairol Santana. And just to kind of conclude our interview, I wanted to ask a question, and I do ask this to a lot of people I interview. What is some advice you would love to give to dancers now, or novice, or people just trying to enter into the scene, into the social scene?
I mean, what I would say is, I know it looks overwhelming from the outside. You know, if you're not in an environment where you're comfortable in, you're gonna feel awkward at first. But you gotta just go for it, man. Try it out. You never know what you might, find. You never know what you might learn. It's a growing experience, and I think you shouldn't limit yourself because of fear. I think you should definitely go for it,
Definitely. And to be honest, those are words that hold weight, because a lot of people sometimes only limit themselves, and they are scared to explore and expand their creativity and their talents and their technique, And one thing too is, one more question before we go. What is something we can look forward to in the future from you?
From me, I think I'm in love with dance. Right now, it's just, I'm young, so I don't have to rush the process, I'm still trying to focus on my personal life right now. I'm trying to live life, and I'm trying to, get somewhere with my school and all that, and then I can actually, put forth all my force into dance after a thing. So definitely, I think it's safe to say I aspire to perform with the pro team one day. That's like my dream. That's one of my dreams here in Yamule. So look forward to that.
Yes, and I definitely, Latin Chronicles will look forward to that. And definitely, I would say I will be there the first show you do in pro. I'll make sure I'll be there.
I believe you.
Yes, and at least to conclude our interview, I also wanted to give you, from the D-Boy NYC, we have a free shirt for you. So I want to thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny. Wow.
Thank you, man. And again, Mr. Santana, we want to thank you from Latin Chronicles, from D-Boy NYC, for having this interview with us.
Yes.
And please, everyone, be on the lookout for Hairol Santana of Yamule Dance Company.
Thank you. Thank you. My sincerest gratitude to you, Diamond. You're the best, bro.
Thank you, man.